Question in Ephesians 3:18-19. How to
Okay.
understand the heights, depths, width of God's love? Any insights? In bracket, one is Christ's death for us on the cross of Calvary. And continue to it in Ephesians 2, verses 18 and
No, no,
19.
no. The first part I understood. What is the second part you're reading, Aditya? Is that a part of the first question?
Yeah, yeah. He said one thing we can understand is through Christ's death. Any other insight on that?
Oh, I really see. One, of course. I mean, you can, in an allegorical, figurative way, say Christ's death is the depth of his love. But again, that would probably be an allegorical way in which we are understanding the depth of love. Basically, I think what Paul wants to convey here is that the love of Christ is unfathomable. Okay, you cannot measure it, you cannot fathom it, you cannot use your intellect to understand the limits of it in any dimension. And that is why he uses the height, the breadth, the depth, and the width of God's love. Now, I'm imagining, and many scholars are also imagining, Paul, whenever he's writing about the armor of God, whenever he's writing about perhaps even this, locked up in a Roman prison or in a cell, or even under house arrest. There are several themes around him that would have invoked imageries in him. And as a writer, he may have been prompted to incorporate those. Definitely, there was a soldier that was tied to him. He looked at the soldier decked up in his armor, and the Spirit of God inspired him to take that and use it. Perhaps I'm thinking if he were, in a prison, right, and sitting and looking at the height and the length and the depth and the darkness and the depravity and the hope of release. Most prisons were underground in those days. Definitely the Mamertine prison in which Paul was at one particular point in time was like that. So I'm just thinking any of this could have inspired him. So I don't think he necessarily has to, we have to think of the depth of God's love as the death of Jesus, the height of God's love as the ascension of Jesus, the breadth of God's love as the entire universe, including Gentiles and Jews, and so on and so forth. We can do that, but it would be reading too much into the text. The basic idea is that the love of God is unfathomable, unmeasurable in any dimension, and that we are to be in awe of that love and not be actually trying to measure that. And we can imagine it to be, yes, the height of ascension, the depth of, the death of Jesus, and so on and so forth. It would not be wrong as long as we are keeping our imagination, within a certain context and rooting it and validating it from the pages of the Bible. But yeah, so these are some of my thoughts, Danny. I'm sorry. I don't know if there is a theological idea that Paul has when he speaks of height, depth, breadth, and width. I can only think of it as in all dimensions, God's love is unfathomable, immeasurable, and that we can't, quantify it. We can be in awe of it, and we can fall down and worship, and be amazed at it for eternity. And that's the idea I get. Hope that helps.